Hello everyone, bringing you another video today from the National Army Museum's collection at Stevenage, and what we're going to be having a look at in this video is another sealed pattern item, this being a sealed pattern example of the adaption of the Mark IV helmet for anti-riot duties in Northern Ireland. So the Mark IV steel helmet fitted with a bracket and the Perspex anti-riot visor, which is something we've looked at previously on the channel, but I thought it would nevertheless be interesting to have a look at a sealed pattern example of one of these. That's what we're going to have a look at now. The Mark IV steel helmet adapted for anti-riot duties with the fitting of a Perspex visor as we have here. But as I say, this particular example is a sealed pattern. And if we move this around here, you can see here we have the standard pattern label with the seal on the back there. The standard pattern label, you can see the details of that there. We'll get a detailed shot of this now. So we have the designation of helmet anti-riot with visor, and then we have the NATO stock number up at the top there, the catalogue number. And you can see that this has actually been dated. The date of sealing is the 1st 6/72. We have the signature against the seal there. There are no further details on the back of the label in this instance, but I will show that for sake of completeness. Now, certainly these helmets do seemingly show up prior to this date in 72. So presumably they were manufactured and then the pattern sealed after the fact, because they had already gone into production as an emergency measure for supply to troops in Northern Ireland. But anyway, this particular example also has a quite clear stamp on the visor. Not all of these do. We get a close-up of this here now, and you can see this is the details of the helmet itself are all detailed on the visor here. Helmet anti-riot, visor attached, and then you have the NATO stock number there, and then Rotax SPG, the manufacturer, and you have a broad arrow as well, and the date underneath that of 1971. So as I say, this is just the standard pattern. It doesn't have a liner in this instance. If we just raise it off here, you can see nice detail with the liner removed. You can see the internal details there. If I get the light in here, you can see the internal details there of how the aluminium bracket is fitted with the rivet for the quick release. They lift the dot fastener in the centre there, and then each side where the bails fit for the chin strap, they're riveted through as well, which holds the bracket in place. So with the liner removed, it's quite nice detail there you can look at. And you can see here, obviously the visor itself bolts onto this bracket on each side. We hold that in view here. You can see the nut and bolt in the centre of the screen there. It's a lock nut on there that holds the visor in place. So, as I say, just an example of one of these, the sealed pattern example, or a sealed pattern example of one of these, which just fits into the story of Northern Ireland kit looked at during this visit to the National Army Museum's Reserve collection. So, just thought it would be interesting to have a look at this. You say it shows that interesting detail of how the bracket fits inside, and it is in and of itself interesting to look at it because it is a sealed pattern example of this helmet. It's an interesting element of the relatively early deployments during Operation Banner, before the Cromwell and the Stadium anti-riot helmets were introduced, and then of course the Mark VI with anti-riot visor and so forth, along with the Northern Ireland helmet as well, the Northern Ireland composite helmet, which was introduced for service out there prior to the Mark VI being introduced as well. So there we are, just a quick look at this and to look over the details of the sealed pattern label and so forth there. So there we are. I hope you found it interesting looking at that, as I always say. If you have, and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell with the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a massive thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It's greatly appreciated, as I always say. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.